Hello, this is Luna Loom, and you're watching Doom City Live. And we have a very special guest today. Welcome, Jack from the Curse Gang. Come on in, Jack. Give him a round of applause, everybody. Hello, Jack. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good.
Well, thank you for joining us. Glad to have you.
I'm glad to be here.
All right, well, let's go ahead and get this all started. How did you get started with the Curse Gang?
Well, I was kind of watching Curse on TV a lot because he was doing this kind of stuff long before I was, and I was like, yeah, I want to get into that hero business. So I met Curse. We were in this like alley, and well, actually we were both walking through it, but he started on one side of it, I started on the other side of it, and there just so happened to be someone getting mugged in the middle of it, and we ran into him at the same time, and we both had our different approaches to handling it, but yeah, we kind of teamed up after that.
All right, so you told us how you got started with the Curse Gang, so why don't you tell us a little bit about what it's like to work with Curse and Slice?
Well, working with Slice is it's not that bad. I mean, he's pretty calm and well, I mean, some people would call it calm, others would call it just cold-blooded. It depends on how well you know him. But he doesn't snap very easily. He's got he's got a pretty good temper. Um, Curse, on the other hand, he'll shoot you just if you look at him funny. So that's interesting. He's got some pretty good insults though. They're kind of funny sometimes.
Um, so what's one of the strangest things that you've seen with your crime fighting with the group?
Well, strangest thing I've seen crime fighting was I mean, it's not strange in a funny way, but once you've seen so many things, everything's kind of a little bit funny to you. But like close to when we first started as a group, there was this person going around, and they were pretty infamous, like just as a killer, but no one knew who it was. No one knew what they looked like. They were like very secretive, and so people would go missing for months, and then after that they would turn up in the city in random places, and they would always be hanging upside down, and they would be hanging by their own intestines. So like they'd have their intestines cut out and then tied around them, and they would be hanging by them, and their eyes would be cut out and sewn into their mouth, and their ears would be cut off, and they wouldn't be anywhere like ever. No one would find them. And so after stumbling upon that a couple times, we got the idea of like, hey, we're gonna figure out who's doing this. We're gonna find them, and we're gonna get rid of them. So we talked some sense into a couple people who happened to know some things, and that led us to this underground base just outside of the city. Uh, and basically, you go in, and once you get in, it's like just a dirt slope, and you slide down, and then it's like a rock wall, and there's blood everywhere, and it stinks. And you walk a little bit further in, and it's all lit by like torches and stuff. It's weird, but like you get in there, and there's just bones and like severed skin, and there's like boxes, like big wooden crates, just full of nothing but ears. And this guy was like, I don't know if he was living in there, or if he was just staying in there when he was doing this stuff. But I don't know how you could stay in there for more than a couple minutes with how bad it stunk. But I guess weirdos are weirdos, and like the dude was freaky looking too. Like he's like real scrawny, but like in a creepy way. Like he's like almost crawling when he walked, and he's like he didn't have any clothes on, okay, and he was covered in dried blood, and he had like weird frizzy hair, but he was balding, so it was only in like patches. Freaky, dude. Freaky. And he had sharp teeth, too. I think he was eating pieces of these people. But yeah, we got rid of him.
Well, I know that you guys are mostly in Doom City, but do you ever travel outside of the city to fight crime?
Uh, Usually no, but if there's something particularly big going on in a different part of the city that someone else can't handle, we'll go there and we'll fix it for them.
Well, with that said, do you know of any other groups outside of the city, around the world, whatever? And if so, have you ever worked with any of them, or would you ever work with any of them?
I don't know of any other groups. I know of some individuals that are out there fighting crime. None of them are really as uh, none of them are really as powerful as our group, I would say. But they do good for what they do, where they're at. They're all right. Would we ever work with them though? Probably not. I don't think we would ever need to. I think we can handle most things on our own. But if there's something to where we need help and they can give that little extra bit, then yeah, sure, we'd work with them. But we're not taking in new recruits or nothing like that.
So, let's see. You told us about some of the strange stuff that you've seen. Do you have any funny stories about the group or your crime fighting or anything?
Oh, there's a lot of funny stories, and not particularly funny ones crime fighting. I mean, we've ran into a couple of people that thought they were super tough and ended up being like you could just flick them and they'd fall over. But uh, really, most of the funny stuff comes from when we're just hanging out because none of us really get along. I mean, we kind of just uh, we just we tolerate each other. We don't like each other. We tolerate each other. But it's funny to me because I have a weird sense of humor. I guess it makes them angry, but I laugh at it. So, let me just pick a story. Okay. So there was this one night. Me and Slice, we were hanging out, and by hanging out, I mean he was trying to get rid of me. That way he could sit in peace for 10 seconds without me talking to him. And, because he's always wanting to, like, meditate or train his brain or some crap like that. And I'm like, I don't get it, dude. What if you want to train, just do some push-ups or something. Or, like, swing your sword around. What good is sitting there and thinking? Or I guess trying not to think? Is that what it is? Anyways. He was doing that, and, I kind of realized he was getting annoyed at me talking to him, so I kept doing it. I was being stupider and stupider, and he started getting real mad. And about the time he gets ready to like flip out, which doesn't happen very often, but he was getting to that point. Curse walks in, and Curse, I don't know where he was before he came in, but wherever he was, he had access to quite a bit of whiskey because he was stumbling like crazy, and he's got a pretty good tolerance. I mean, he's been drinking for freaking since he was like 10 or something like that, and he's like stumbling around, and he's like slurring his words and everything else. But the thing is, like that's usual. Like, I mean, it's not usual, but it's not out of the ordinary to see him like that. But what was weird is he didn't come in alone. He had like 3 or 4 or 5, maybe 6 other people with him. And Curse isn't the type of dude who hangs out with people. So I'm like, what the heck is going on? Well, like, turns out he had stumbled into not a regular bar, but like a strip club. And when he went to leave, they followed him, which I don't think he wanted them to follow him, but they did. And so Slice who is the most serious one of the bunch, he's just like, no, out, all of you, out. And I'm like, oh wow, you brought the party with you. And Curtis is like, I just want to go to sleep. Leave me alone. so Slice is trying to get everybody to go out the door, and Curtis, he just goes and he curls up in the kitchen and like beside a cabinet and just falls asleep. And so he was out of the picture. But Slice is trying to get these girls to leave, and I'm like, hey, no, dude, come on, fun times. And he's like, no, I just want to meditate. I'm like, I start throwing dollar bills, and they're wanting to stay because they can get money now, but he's wanting them to leave because he wants to meditate. And so me and him start fighting, and then as we're fighting, like, he's holding back because he doesn't want to just cut my head off, because Kirsch wouldn't like that too much. So he's holding back a little bit, and I'm able to get some punches in, and all these girls, they start rooting for it. Like, they're like, fight, fight, fight. I'm like, well, apparently we're the entertainment now. But anyways, me and him, we got done fighting. Nobody got seriously injured. And nobody usually gets seriously injured in our fights. But he won, and they left, and I went to play video games or something. I don't know. I don't remember what I ended up doing afterwards, but that was pretty funny.
So, I noticed we put out a thing for viewers to comment or ask questions, and one of the things that kept coming up is about how short you are. So I was just wondering exactly how tall you are and how your being short affects your crime fighting and your dynamic in the group.
Well, I am, I mean, if you count my shoes, I'm like 5 foot tall. So, that's, I mean, okay. Being short only sucks if you need to reach the top shelf, or, I don't know, yeah, that's really about it. If you want to reach something that's up high, being short sucks. Other than that, I can punch someone in their kneecaps and they'll fall over just as well as if I punch them in their face. And it doesn't really bother me. And sometimes, when Curse is being extra rude, and cracking his short jokes, they're actually kind of funny.
So, if you weren't fighting crime, did you have any other interests or passions, something that you think that maybe you would be doing instead?
Well, I got this power where I can lift things that are really heavy and just I have a lot of strength. So I figure if I wasn't fighting crime, I'd be best suited for like I don't know, maybe like some circus sideshow act. You know, the strongman, maybe like bending metal bars, lifting a school bus, something weird like that. Either that or like manual labor, like working in a mine or some crap where I just push the mine carts around. We don't need tracks. I'll just carry them. Something like that.
It looks like it's about time for a commercial break, but we've got time for one more question real quick. So, does the group have any big plans for the future? Anything? I know you said you weren't really interested in hiring any more recruits, no help, but do you have any big plans, anything going on in the near future?
Well, crime fighting wise, just group wise in general, there's something pretty big. Curse, he's running for mayor. So, if you guys want someone like Curse, someone who is a strong leader, Uh, he doesn't take crap from anybody. He's willing to put a bullet in someone to get what he wants. If you guys want someone like that running Doom City, someone who can really crush the crime, vote for Curse. And if you don't want a psychopath as your leader, don't vote for Curse.
All right, well, you heard it, people. Curse for mayor. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with more with Jack.
Hello there, citizens of Doom City. If you don't know who the I am, my name is Curse McBad. And I'm here to tell you, I'm running for mayor of Doom City. Because this city doesn't need some lily-livered pushover like Hubert J. Squidley in office. We don't need some spineless octopus in there letting the mafia and the drug dealers walk all over him for a little bit of cash. We need some tough mother that's gonna get in there and he's gonna blow the brains out of the crime. Vote for me. Vote to kill crime. This message is brought to you by Curse McBad, the new mayor of Doom.
Okay, and we're back on the air with Jack from the Curse Gang. So, like I said, good to have you. Anybody that is just tuning in, he's already answered some questions, so hopefully maybe you got DVR'd the beginning and can go back. So let's get started with some more questions. I'm sure being a crime fighter probably doesn't pay all that much, if at all. So what do you and the gang do for money? Do you guys have day jobs, or what do you do?
Well, crime fighting, believe it or not, is not a legal occupation. So I don't make any money off of it, but hey, I don't have to pay taxes for it either, so that's cool. What I do instead to get money is basically anyone we kill, we just take their money. Unless the money that they have we know specifically was stolen from someone else, then we'll give it back to that person, or at least I will. I think Slice does too, because he doesn't really have any need for money. He was a hitman or an assassin or whatever you want to call it, so he's got big bucks. He doesn't share it with us though. So yeah. But if they robbed a bank, we're keeping the money they took from the bank. That's government money. That's not the people's money, so we'll keep that gladly.
So how did Curse become the leader, or why is he the leader, and who do you think maybe might be the weakest link of the group?
Well, the simple fact is, Curse is the leader because Curse has the biggest ego. Also, we ran into Curse. Curse didn't run into us. Curse was doing his own thing before we were doing our own thing. So, I mean, Slice was doing a different thing altogether. Curse kind of forced him to join the group. Yeah. So that's why Curse is the leader, because he recruited us. We didn't recruit him. Plus, Slice is the most skilled. I'm the strongest as far as being able to pick things up, but Curse is the toughest. And that's another reason he's the leader, because he's the toughest. And as far as the weakest link goes, I'm going to put this completely honestly. Curse could kick my ass. Slice could kick my ass. I'm the weakest link. But I'm still stronger than all of you watching, so don't try me.
All right. So, I know you spend a lot of time with Curse and Slice and your crime fighting and everything, but do you have any other friends, maybe a little bit more normal friends?
Depends on what you define as normal. I mean, I hang out with other people. I don't really I don't know. I don't really have any close friends. There's a lot of people I hang out with. Usually, like, I hang out with someone for a day, then the next day I'll move on to someone else and such and so forth.
All right. Well, with that being said, do you have any normal hobbies? Do you like to play video games? Do you like sports? Anything like that? Motorcycles, cars, whatever.
I like I like video games sometimes, Not I don't really do the new stuff because I don't have money to buy the new stuff, but the old stuff I'll play some old stuff. And I like movies when I can see movies. They're cool. Music, I like music. Uh that's about it as far as normal hobbies. Well, I like to eat. Is eating a hobby? Probably not. Everybody's got to eat, but I think I'd enjoy it more than the next person, so I call it a hobby.
So, you look really young, and I know you said you've been with the Curse Gang for a couple years, but exactly how old are you?
16 years old.
Wow, that is young. So, with you being that young and already in crime fighting, what was your life like before joining the Curse Gang and I was going to say your childhood years, but you're barely out of them, but what was it like before joining the Curse Gang?
Well, life before the Curse Gang, it's a little bit. I mean, compared to other people in Doom City, I didn't really have it that bad. I mean, everybody goes through crap here, and compared to Curse, my life was peachy. Slice, I don't know nothing about his life, but I mean, had his troubles. I mean, uh, my parents were pretty well off up until the point where crime started escalating a lot more. I mean, crime's always been bad in Doom, but there was a point when the current mayor got elected where crime just. And so basically, every dollar that they earned, they would lose. So we kind of became broke pretty quick, and because of that, I lost a house, lost cars, such and so forth. So I had to kind of figure out how to survive on my own. And that's kind of what got me into crime fighting. I had to toughen up. If I was going to survive, I needed to be tough.
Speaking back to all that, has the group ever lost a fight?
World's still here, ain't it?
So the group's never lost a fight against anybody else. Has there ever been any serious fights within the group?
Yeah. When Slice joined the group, Curse actually put a hit out on himself because he was bored one day. And so he went on this website and hired a hitman to kill him. And Slice was that hitman. He showed up, and Curse and him had a battle, and it could have went either way at that point because Curse was a lot weaker then than he is now. So it could have went any way at that point. But Curse managed to win, and he was basically like, all right, buddy, either I kill you or you join my team. What's it going to be? And Slice didn't want to die, so he's like, now he's part of the Curse Gang. And then me and Curse have never really gotten into it because I always know how far I can push my limits before I just get shot. And that's the thing. I don't want to test Curse because there's no in between. He either shoots you or he doesn't do anything. He's not just going to punch you. He'll either shoot you or nothing. Slice, on the other hand, he's not just going to pull out a sword and chop your head off. He'll escalate slowly. So me and him have gotten into it a couple times, but nothing super serious. I mean, neither of us are dead, so yeah.
So what do you think you would do if the group ever split up? Do you think you would just retire, or would you just fight crime on your own, or what do you think you would do?
if the group split up, I'd go solo. Like, I'm in this crime fighting stuff. I'll stay in it till I die. I don't plan on retiring.
Is there anything that could happen that would make you want to quit crime fighting?
There, there's like one or two things I could think of that would make me want to quit. Uh, like if I had a kid, I'd probably want to quit. But at this point, like, I don't think being one of the top 3 people in this, like, there's three levels of defenses before the Earth is wiped out by someone, and that's me, Slice, Curse, and I guess like police, army, but they're weak. Like, they're not gonna do anything against someone who can really wipe out the Earth. So I don't think I'm able to retire. The only way I'm getting out of this is if I die. I might be able to slow down one of these days, but never retire.
All right, well, we have another viewer question. Well, it's kind of a multi-part question here, and it's a really popular question. So, first is, are you single? If so, are you interested in a relationship? And do you even have time for one with your crime fighting?
Uh, it depends on what you define as single. Uh, I would say I am. There's probably a lot of people who would say I'm not. But, I mean, yeah, I'm single. Am I interested in a relationship? I mean, clearly there's like, I can't count all of them. They're not serious though. So that's why I say I'm single. Uh, do I have time for them? I have too much time. I have way too much time. All these fights, like 99% of the fights that I get into, they don't last very long. It's like one punch and they're done. So I have plenty of time, even though this place is filled with crime.
Well, thank you for coming. It looks like that's about all the time we have for today. But I know that you said earlier that Curse is going to be running for mayor. So, if he'd like to come on possibly and talk about his campaign, or maybe talk a little bit about his crime fighting and his side of the story and everything, we'd be more than happy to have him on. And for that matter, if Slice wants to come on and do an interview as well, we'd be more than happy to have him too if you think they'd be interested.
If you guys want him on the show, I'll get him on the show.
Well, thank you very much, Jack. Thank you, and good talking with you. You have a wonderful day, and good luck with all your crime fighting.
Yeah, it's fun being on TV. Bye.
And that's all the time we have for Doom City Live. Thank you, everybody. Have a good day.